A 7-day cruise with family members to the Norwegian fjords starts in Southampton. It's a busy day in Southampton with 3 other ships in. Our cabin attendant Josephine has opened up the partitions between our 3 adjoining balconies. Our first port is Stavanger, which is Norway's oldest and 3rd largest city. We berth next to the old town with its 18th century white painted wooden houses. Also here is one of Azura's older sisters, Crown Princess. Stavanger is of course also the base of the Norwegian offshore oil and gas industry. We head off the ship to walk up into town. There's a small market at the head of the dock, and nearby St. Swithin's Cathedral, dating from the 12th century. The Valberg Tower was built for fire watching in the mid-19th century. The Stavanger Cultural Centre houses, along with a library, a cinema and so on, a rather good cafe. Back at the harbour side, where all the old warehouses are now restaurants and bars. And we can see our adjoining balconies on Azura. Our next stop is Ålesund, built on some islands near the mouth of Geiranger Fjord. In the 10th century, a Norse adventurer called Rolf the Ganger was born near modern Ålesund. He went on to found the dynasty of the Dukes of Normandy and is therefore a direct ancestor of our present Queen. You can walk 418 steps up to that viewpoint. That's Ålesund Church, which we will visit later. The city was completely destroyed by fire in 1904 and rebuilt in the Art Nouveau style. Most of those buildings still survive. The former apothecary's shop and house is now the Museum of Art Nouveau, or Jugendstil as it's known here. Ålesund Church was built in 1909 and today commands a good view of Azura. Inside there are extensive Art Nouveau frescoes, as well as some stained glass, some of which was donated by the German Kaiser Wilhelm. Heading back down towards the harbour now to rejoin Azura in time for lunch. In the morning we're sailing in Nordfjord towards Olden. We berth at Olden Pier and we can see the village from our balcony. There's a Toy Town train runs a sightseeing trip from alongside the ship, so we decide to give that a go. The trip takes us round the freshwater lakes above the village of Olden that feed the fjord. Back in the village, there's a very pleasant cafe for a coffee stop and Olden Church. This dates from 1759 and has been replaced for regular use by the new Olden Church dating from 1935. Walking back to the ship along the side of the fjord. Aida Luna was in with us, but we got the berth. Meanwhile, the rest of our group were more intrepid and went up to see the Bricksdal Glacier. About 6 p.m. we depart to sail back out through Nordfjord, enjoying the views in the evening sunshine. Our final port is Bergen. We are being followed into port by Holland America's Rotterdam. Both Azura and Rotterdam appear to be conducting exercises with their boats. We're taking the funicular to the top of Mount Fluen, from where we get a fantastic view of Bergen. It was incredibly windy on the top. By the time we got back down to the bottom, the queue for the funicular was immense. We head back to the ship via the old harbour and the Hanseatic warehouses of Bruggen. The oldest of these date from the early 18th century, but there has been much fire damage over the years. The last fire was in 1955. At 4 o'clock, Azura sails out of the harbour, along the fjord, out into the North Sea, on its way home to Southampton. After the cruise, 3 days in Portsmouth. Portsmouth is the home of the Royal Navy, and we're visiting the historical dockyards. Our first stop is the Mary Rose, Henry VIII's great ship, built in 1510, sunk in 1545, and razed in 1982. A splendid new museum has been built over the preserved remains. Clever audio-visual effects show what daily life must have been like on the ship. Next door to the Mary Rose is HMS Victory, Horatio Nelson's flagship, on which he died at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. Victory is still in commission in the Royal Navy, making it the oldest commissioned warship in the world. Nearby is the Royal Navy's newest warship, HMS Queen Elizabeth, an aircraft carrier as yet without aircraft. HMS Warrior, dating from 1860. The Spinnaker Tower's observation deck, just over 100 metres above ground level, provides stunning views of the enormous Portsmouth harbour. Fishbourne Roman Palace near Chichester was originally built towards the end of the 1st century AD and greatly expanded thereafter. It was destroyed by fire around about 270 AD. It is the largest known Roman residence north of the Alps, but most of the remains lie under a modern council housing estate. Part of the formal Roman garden has been recreated.